Now for our roundtable with News Channel 5 political analyst and author of the CrowleyPoliticalReport.com, Brian Crowley, and Antonio Fins, editor with the Palm Beach Post. Gentlemen, thank you. And from the Democratic Gubernatorial Forum, we know it's early on, but headlines you perhaps thought of or saw. Antonio?
Well, I'll go with the one that we had in the Post, and not just because I'm going to do a shameless plug for the paper, but of my employer, but the focus on the Confederate statues and the symbols, simply because, look, education, they talked about minimum wage. These are the perennial Democratic talking points, but in the past, they just have not moved the needle when it comes to the election. So I think the focus and the very outspoken positions they took on the Confederate symbols and memorials, I think is a way to try to start energizing the base and try to raise, try to address the enthusiasm gap that they've seen in previous elections.
Brian?
Yeah, I think they put down their markers on this issue. The larger question will be whether or not this is still an issue this time next year, when the election is really underway. It'd be interesting to see whether or not it has any legs. But, they said they were kind of predictable in the things that I expected them to say.
Were you surprised that, a question to both of you, that there was not more effort, despite no lack of trying by the moderator, really separation on issues? Some have described prior get-togethers as love fest. When did they start really separating on issues? Or does this really come down to a personality contest? We like perhaps the first woman as governor, the first African-American as governor, somebody who has no government background but a strong business background between these three, because there's no separation on the issues at all right now.
Well, I don't think there is a lot of separation of issues
and not likely to be
among the Democrats.
On anything.
There aren't that many elected Democrats.
So you're voting on,
well,
but my point is you're sort of voting on, this is a personality slate.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that, again, there'll be a lot more. They'll make mistakes. There'll be weaknesses, and these things will be exploited in the months to come. This time frame for an election is largely working with activists, raising money, and really preparing yourself for the campaign next year.
How much does the Graham name help Gwen Graham?
He hasn't been on the ballot in 20 years in the state. It does have cachet for those who remember the Graham years. Yeah, I think he's got influence, and he's got he is a figure. But Jeb Bush learned last year in the Republican primaries, even when it couldn't even make it to Florida, because when you haven't been on the ballot in more than a decade or so, it comes back to haunt you. But going back to the question of trying to differentiate themselves, I would also point out that two of the candidates are from Leon County. And you go up to 90% of the people in this state, show them a map of Florida and say, spot Leon County and Tallahassee. What do you want to wager, Brian, that most people won't be able to figure it out?
Absolutely.
And that speaks to the challenge that they're going to have with name recognition and getting their names out in front of the electorate.
It does seem to me that public education, about a third of the budget, a lot of debate at the grassroots, at local school districts, among parents about the public school, charter school debate. Richard Corcoran, House Speaker, who may well throw his hat in the Republican ring, has called public schools too often failure factories. You heard what the candidates had to say about public schools versus charter schools. Is that an issue that we can see really rise to the forefront as these candidates on both sides of the aisle will try to differentiate themselves next year? What traction will that have?
One of the great ironies about these education issues, and I had written about this some time ago, so I double-check my notes, but in 1957, Democratic Governor Leroy Collins was recommending merit pay. It came up again in the 60s. The last governor before Jeb Bush to really push merit pay real hard with teacher testing to make sure that they would earn this merit pay was Bob Graham in 1983. These education issues, people always think they're new. They've been around for 50 years. And it's the same issue all the time. The bigger issue really is we never get there. We talk about it a lot, but we never really accomplish anything.
And what I hear is way too early to know what issues or personalities this race will coalesce around. Right now, you may have a couple of more Democrats jump in the race. John Morgan, the wealthy Central Florida lawyer, Phil Levine, Miami Beach mayor. On the Republican side, how's that shaping up?
Well, so far you got Adam Putnam.
Right.
And you may have Corcoran.
And a lot of us talking about who else.
And, Latvala, another one that's been, he's not, okay, so you got him. But let's just go back a second to the Democrats. And let's bear in mind when they're hitting these issues, like the ones they're hitting, before they can even think about taking on a Republican, they got to win the Democratic primary, and they got to basically get the base behind them. And education has been an issue that they have really promoted. They've sided with the teacher unions, as you pointed out during the forum. And I'll only say that the last time that one of the most hotly debated teacher pay reforms was, remember, SB 6? And Charlie Crist was the one that favored it, then he torpedoed it. Didn't really work out for him in the 2010 Senate race, nor in the 2014 governor's race. But again, they're playing to the base because they got a primary to win.
And of course, then having to look beyond that, the fascinating thing to me is no party affiliation voters are basically 1 in 4 registered voters in this state. So the long game of looking beyond your base and how, if you win that nomination, you look beyond to capture those. You've talked a lot about that too.
You know, most of my career watching politics and reporting on politics, I never understood the idea of an open primary. I thought, well, you know, Republicans should pick their person and Democrats should pick their person. Why would you want outsiders to do that? But as I've watched the extreme polarization that has gone on, largely helped by redistricting, it's hard for whether you're a legislator or a member of Congress to move away from your hardcore base because you have to go back for re-election to those folks. So, you know, a third of our electorate in this state is no party affiliation. I think we should open the primaries and let them vote in the primaries. And I think the result of that would be that we would wind up with a chance of having more moderate politicians in both parties who would actually be willing to talk to each other and wouldn't have to listen to the extremes in both parties.
There's a concept, and there's part of the ongoing debate. Gentlemen, we'll be back with your closing thoughts in just a moment.